We have another amazing innovator, women who are making change happen today and for tomorrow and embracing the power of technology. A colleague that I have high respect for, and I also blog on her platform, Jensine Larsen, who is the founder and CEO of World Pulse. Welcome and talk to us.
Good morning. There's a woman who is a member of our online community from Crimea, and she has recently said, "A woman with a laptop can be more powerful than a man with a gun." And the truth about me is that with every single cell in my body, I believe we are living at a moment, this historical opportunity to use the power of digital communication to truly unlock women's voices from every corner of the world and connect them into a powerful force like we have never before seen. And if we can do this, I believe we will be a force that is more powerful than war. So for the last decade, I've been a social media entrepreneur obsessed with how do we actually create the communication infrastructure and architecture to make this happen, to truly connect women on the ground around the world and bring them a greater global voice. And so I'll share with you a few of my learnings from this experience. Today, World Pulse is one of the leading global digital networks that's connecting tens of thousands of women from over 190 countries, particularly grassroots women leaders, many who are using internet cafes or mobile phones, logging on from rural areas and conflict zones, and bringing their voices to each other, but also to the world. If I might have the slides move to 2 more, and 2 more. Here we are. So, as I mentioned, women are logging on. They're logging on from the cafes of Kansas to the internet cafes of Afghanistan. They are speaking the truth of their experience in their communities. They are exchanging solutions. They're exchanging resources on our social network. And there are 3 primary things that we've learned listening to. I would say this is a giant listening device to what's on the hearts and minds of women and girls around the world and what their communication needs are. And there are 3 areas in which we've responded. And I encourage all of us, as we do our work in advancing and accelerating women's empowerment, to consider these. And they are in the realm of content, community, and training. On the first hand, technology is often spoken about as a powerful force, but the value of online community is often under-acknowledged. And what I find time and time again is for many of these women leaders, community-based leaders working in isolation who are struggling with their own confidence, that coming onto an online community, immediately connecting with peers around the world, getting comments, getting that confidence is a powerful catalyst for them to go on to become in even stronger and more impactful leaders in their communities. The second area in content, as we're listening to women, we have more content and data from women around the world than we ever have. And particularly on World Pulse, we've begun using strategies of crowdsourcing these solutions on key issues of our time. How do we expand access to girls' education? How do we expand digital access to women? And they themselves know how to do it in their communities. So we crowdsource that data, and we are delivering it increasingly to the Internet Governance Forum, to the United Nations, to the US State Department, et cetera. And the third area is in training. We are equipping grassroots women leaders who are just coming online with the skills, the digital empowerment training. How do they use Skype? How do they use Facebook? How do they use World Pulse to get their messages out into the world and have a bigger impact? And we equip them with safety and security training, and especially in the online environment. And we teach them how to do op-eds and how to build movements using the technology. And we train them to train others in an each one teach five format. What we hear again and again from women is that it is not enough to simply put a laptop or a cell phone in the hands of a woman. That does not automatically equal empowerment. So many women lack the confidence or the belief in themselves or the knowledge for how to navigate and access the full suite of benefits that exist on the internet. And I'll share with you quickly 3 stories of what we've learned before I conclude. There's a phenomenon that we've witnessed over the years, and I call them the rise of these wired women leaders, or these transmitters of society. And they have risen in response to this common question of, well, how can technology be an answer because so many women do not have access? They are illiterate, they are off the grid. And what I have seen causes me to believe that this can be a rather patronizing attitude towards women globally, to rule technology off the table and say this cannot be a strategy we use. Because when we ask the women who are online, how do we reach their communities, they say through us. We are the bridges. And once they're equipped with the skills, they often want to go out into their communities and train others. A wonderful example of this is Nema Namadamu from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, one of the most silenced regions of the world with only 2% internet access. And we trained her and trained other women leaders, and soon she ignited a movement called the Hero Women of over 600 women who have never before been online, coming online, speaking their visions for a future, establishing women-only internet cafes to bridge the access gap, where there was lines around the block, women fighting for the chairs, 3 butts per seat, and eventually started developing peace and development demands to the World Bank for multi-million dollars for them to implement their own local development, and also launched an online petition to the White House, which we delivered and got over 100,000 signatures. And the White House eventually appointed a U.S. Special Envoy to the region months later, citing the fact that they had heard directly from these women, and that gave them the impetus to actually appoint this Special Envoy. And so we see this power to build movements, we see this power, we see women like Stella Paul using cell phones to teach trash pickers and sex workers across India how to free themselves if they're trafficked, how to plug in the names of their village leaders if they have sanitation issues or labor issues. They want to talk directly to their leaders. And she has a vision to train over 10,000 women across India in digital empowerment. We see women like Chiavan Lena from the Cameroon, who spoke about the practice of breast ironing, which is a very unknown topic. And it went, I picked up from our site to #1 on CNN.com, and she received an award, launched a breast ironing campaign to end the practice, and has today reached over 20,000 women and girls who have vowed never to conduct the practice again in their community. So the power of one woman with access to the internet building these movements is absolutely a force that we cannot ignore. So I urge all of us, as we're looking at our strategies, to use some of these learnings that we have and build them in. And the work that we are doing is so powerful, but it'll be that much more powerful if we truly, truly are connected. I believe that as women, if we control our means of communication, we will control our destiny. Thank you.
Wow, I was feeling so wired to each one of you as she was, Jensine was sharing with us. And at the same time, feeling how much each one of us has a phone maybe in this room, as many of us, and how much we can amplify even just the voices from here to our sisters, to our families, to our communities who are not here. Women owning technology, women innovating with technology to advance women's human rights. Thank you so much for that sharing.